Hey girl, my name is Anel. Welcome to the Brave in Her podcast, where we inspire, empower, and motivate by sharing our stories of bravery. I strongly believe that by sharing our stories, we open ourselves to healing, but also serve to give hope and inspiration to those who are dealing with a tough situation. We will talk about all topics under the sun. Now let's hear your stories of bravery. Hey girl, thank you for being here for today's episode. Today we have my friend Ariana Allen. She's a wife, mother of a precious little girl, and the founder of Educated Latina. Hi Ariana, how are you?
Hi Anel, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm good. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself today?
Sure. So, like you said, my name is Ariana, and I'm from New York. All over. I moved around a lot as a kid, so I'm from all over New York, particularly Brooklyn. That's my hometown. And I moved out to LA back in 2004 to pursue my college education at Loyola Marymount University. And I'm married. I have my daughter Vivian, who's 16 months, married to my husband Michael, and I am Dominican and Puerto Rican. I don't know if I mentioned that part, and I'm Dominican, Puerto Rican. I'm very proud of it.
Cool. Can you talk to us about the importance of higher education, especially in the Latino community?
Absolutely. So, I think higher education is so important because I do a workshop with some high school students that I called how to make college work for you through Educated Latina. And one of the stats that I usually share is that having a college degree, you can earn $1 million more over your lifetime than someone who doesn't have a college degree. So just that alone, having that financial stability and power and access, it just opens doors and gives you options that you might not have otherwise. So a college degree is super important in the real world. Like a lot of jobs are requiring it that are entry level. Like I worked at a place that a customer service job, like one of my first customer service jobs, required a college degree.
Yeah, same here. Same for my job. I would say like maybe 90%, 95% of the employees have a college degree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of my girlfriends actually, she has so much experience in this particular field, another Latina, but she can't get promoted, even though she has the skills, the experience, everything else. She doesn't have that degree, and she can't get promoted until she gets that degree. So thankfully, she worked her way through. She had a lot of ups and downs in finishing her degree, but she finally is going to petition to graduate soon, and she will be getting her degree and getting that promotion. So, and she's so excited, and I'm so proud of her, but because she's been through a lot. But it's just funny that little paper, it means a lot to people. You know, it means certain things. You know, it means you can think a certain way, you can express yourself a certain way. It means you have and you have options. So it's really important to have a higher education.
Right. So in your introduction, you mentioned that you came to California to pursue your undergrad at Loyola, but you forgot to mention that you just started your graduate program.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I sure did forget to. Yes, I am a new grad student. That's why I forgot, and I'm on vacation right now. So,
ooh, yes.
Yeah, I just finished. Well, I didn't just finish, but I finished my first semester of my summer session for my degree, my master's in higher education administration, because I'm so passionate about helping students in their college journey, which I started. That passion kind of bubbled out into creating Educated Latina, but bubbling out of Educated Latina, I was just too excited to I wanted to know more. I wanted to be more helpful and do fulfilling work. And so I applied to work in higher education, basically student affairs. So like I call it the fun side. So it's like the side that works with the clubs and the organizations and like student development and that kind of stuff. So I'll be once I graduate, I'll be working in somewhere in there. I'm not sure yet what'll be available, but I have some ideas around where I want to go. But I just finished my summer session and I'll be starting my fall session next Wednesday. So
good luck.
Yeah, forgot about that. Thank you.
And so you just mentioned Educated Latina. Can you tell us a little bit more about Educated Latina? What inspired you to start this?
Absolutely. So Educated Latina is an online lifestyle magazine for Latinas in college. And I was actually inspired to create it. It was actually based off a conversation I was having at school. So at LMU, when I was in undergrad, we used to have something called Convo Hour, which unfortunately they took away. So sad for these new students. And back then, it would be basically like an hour and a half on Tuesdays and Thursdays where students could just kind of do whatever. It was just like free time. So no classes, no anything was scheduled. It was just, it could be fun activities or whatever, lunch, clubs, stuff like that. So I was sitting on the quad with my sorority sisters. I'm a member of Sigma Lambda Gamma National Sorority Incorporated, which is a Latina-based sorority at LMU and lots of places nationwide. And we were sitting there, mouthful, I know. We were sitting on the quad there and I happened to walk into a conversation with some of my sisters saying like, if they hadn't found SLG, they probably would have dropped out of LMU or transferred out. And in my head, I'm like thinking, why? Like, that's such an odd thing to say. And I asked them some more questions and they revealed to me that Loyola Marymount University is a PWI or a predominantly white institution. And a lot of my sorority sisters are women of color, particularly Latinas, and they felt out of place. They felt, like they didn't belong. I'm sure some of them were dealing with like feelings of imposter syndrome and,
yes.
but when they found our sorority, they felt like they were around women who understood them and, just felt like a more home environment for them on campus.
Like a community that they can depend on.
Exactly, which is so important in college. Your community, your tribe is so important. So that sparked an idea and I was like, if they're feeling like this, how many others are feeling like this? That same semester, I happened to be taking a feminist methods class. I actually majored in women's studies as an undergrad. And the feminist methods class really was just about how do people create knowledge? And so we had to create knowledge and work on a semester-long paper or project creating new knowledge. And my topic was Latinas, the struggles and experiences of Latinas in college. And I surveyed, I interviewed, and I did research, like qualitative research on the issue. And I found that many, many, many Latinas, which were first generation, which wasn't a term. This was back in like 2007, 2006, 2007. Spring of 2007, I think. That wasn't really like a term that was well known like it is now. Everyone is like, I'm first gen. That wasn't a thing back then, that term. And so a lot of them were first gen and a lot of them had experience like once they got to college, they said they had a lot of help getting into college. But once they got there, it was kind of like, what do I do now? They didn't know about like the hidden curriculum or they had a lot of culture shock they experienced. It was really hard for them to navigate college because they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't have a guide to help them. They didn't know where to go. And so it was just really interesting. And then in terms of like the research, I couldn't find anybody that really researched Latinos in college and their matriculation rates or their entering into college or their enrollment rates or the experiences or anything. Not the last information I found was like in the 80s and it was very, very small pool of research. It wasn't that great. So I was also, and then all at the same time, I've also kind of been an entrepreneur kind of like my whole life. And I knew I wanted to start my own business at some point. And so when I came out with that paper and hearing my sisters talk about, just their experience, I thought, maybe I can create a magazine that kind of helps them, give them tips and advice and all these things to help them navigate college. And then a few years after I graduated, I think in 2011 is when I finally launched Educated Latina online. So it's a blog online. educatedlatina.com. You can go there and check it out.
Yes, please go check it out. Did you ever went through any struggles through either college, undergrad, or now as a grad student?
I think, yeah. So I think my struggles as an undergrad were mostly like, balancing school. I worked full time as a college student as well, an undergrad. So it was mostly like balancing my studies and my club activities. I was really active on campus. I was in a sorority. I was in student government. I also worked. And so it was really balancing all these kind of roles that I was in. I know my first semester I had a hard time adjusting to the study schedule because I was always a good student in high school. So I thought I could just like read a chapter and get it and take the test. Doesn't work like that in college. It's not a good strategy. Now when you have to read like 500 pages before your midterm, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
So I learned that the first semester and, quickly, created better study habits for myself. I'm trying to think back. I know like now in grad school, it's again another balancing act. I've been out of school like 10 plus years. So that's a little trying to get used to like the new ways of doing things as a student. Cause there's certain things that weren't around when I was in undergrad that are now around, which are very cool, but also like something new to get used to. And then now I have a husband and a child and a full-time job. So balancing all of that is tough. It's tough, but my husband's great. I have my sister that helps as well, helps me watch my daughter. So having the support system is really helpful. But it's still tough, but it's manageable. You just have to have the right support systems in place.
Yeah, I think that's the key, the support system, because there's no way you can do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
Being either, being single or being, like in your case, being married and having a child that depends on you, it's not easy.
Right. Yeah. And in my workshop that I do for the high school students, tribe is important. That's one thing I speak about because for my sorority sisters and other Latinas that I interviewed for my paper back in undergrad, that was huge for them, finding that community. Like you said, whether single or married, it's really important to have that community and people like you, whether they look like you or they share the same culture or you're just experiencing the same things together. Like, for example, you're both in that same chemistry class. That's hard. That could be a form of women, or your majors, whatever it is. It's so important to find a community because especially for like Latinas or first generation students, sometimes your family or your friends back home who aren't in college may not understand the things that you have to do, like study or stay on campus late for school or, for papers or studying or clubs. They may not understand certain things that you're doing in college. And so it really helps to have that understanding with people that are going through the same thing as you.
Yeah, I experienced the same thing, doing my undergrad and even my grad studies where, my family didn't understand. My husband didn't understand either, where, I had to study. I had to make time to study, do homework, and turn in assignments, write papers, those papers that I don't miss. Research, do all that stuff on top of, your responsibilities as a wife or responsibilities as a mother, responsibilities as the sister, daughter, all that. So yes, what you're saying is it's really important that tribe or that community that can understand what you're going through and that support system.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you have any advice for the girl who wants to pursue a higher education but does not know where to start?
Yeah, actually. So the awesome thing about this generation is that there's so many resources online. Like on Instagram, for example, on my Educated Latina Instagram, there are so many awesome like Instagram accounts that are encouraging other Latinas, like not only Educated Latina, but also these other accounts, which I can't think of off the top of my head, but they are following Educated Latina. So if you go follow Educated Latina, you can go through my list of followers, or I'm following them. And there are these really awesome accounts that are just like highlighting and encouraging Latinas to go to college. They're showing other Latinas that are in college and they're sharing their stories, just like on, Educated Latina. They're doing the same. So there's so much more awareness now of like first generation college students and their struggles, and just college students in general, because, not all Latinas are first gen. I'm not. My both my parents went to college. They grew up. They were born in DR and Puerto Rico, but they immigrated here when they were tiny. So they grew up in America and ended up going to college. So I'm not first gen, but you still need to know how to get to college, right? Like,
right.
Even though my parents they went in when the 80s, everything's changed now. They don't know how it works. So you still need that guidance and that help. So I would just, with the technology that you have in your hands, I would do a lot of research and follow Educated Latina and some of these other accounts on Instagram. A lot of universities also have first gen programs, which are really cool. So if you are a first gen student, I would go check out the Instagram account or the website of the schools that you're interested in, and see if they have a first gen office, and check out their resources. Upward Bound is also an awesome resource. A lot of high schools have them. So if you have an Upward Bound at your office or a TRIO office in your high school, I definitely recommend checking them out and seeing how you can be a part of that, because they take you on tours to colleges. They help you really get that college experience, and even having that minor exposure can change a lot of your perspective, your outlook, and really encourage you to go and help you go too, because they give you those resources.
Yeah, those are really great tips. And to add to that, I would also encourage you to reach out if you know, like Educate Latina or other great resources on Instagram. Reach out and ask the questions. Because most people are willing to guide you and to be to mentor you if you need that help.
Absolutely. I know you can definitely reach out to me and these other accounts, and just reach out to somebody for help, because we know that you're not expected to know everything. I mean, and even if it's not like on the application side, maybe you're nervous. Like, for example, you already graduated college or undergrad, or you want to go back and you're a mom now, you're like, oh my God, how am I going to go back? Or, go to get your master's or whatever type of degree you're trying to get. Like for me, for example, I knew I wanted to work in higher education probably for the past 7-8 years. But there were so many things in my way and doubts. And I was like, I don't know. And is it worth it? And I would go back and forth and struggle with that. And it's so expensive to get your master's. And am I going to get a job? And all these other things. But when I had my daughter, I was like, I want a better life for her. It really made me draw a line in the sand and was like, all right, who am I? Who do I want my daughter to see me be? And I was like, you know what? I want to be the self that I know I can be. I want to fulfill my dream of working in higher education, because I know that's where, when I talk about it, when I read information on it, I get so excited, and I'm very passionate about it. I mean, I started my own blog, but 8-9 years ago at this point, about higher education. Like, it's something that I want to do. And so I was like, after having my daughter, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to apply. I literally came up with the idea in January. I was like, I'm going to apply January, February time. Did the application. My dad was a huge help with that. My sister and my mom and my husband, all encouraging. And I applied in, I think it was April, and I got accepted in May, and I started school in July. It was really, really fast, but I made the decision, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to support my family doing something that I love to do. And I want my daughter to see this. And so that really, really pushed me to go.
Yeah, so I have 2 points with what you said. So one, think about that person, like you're saying, think about the person you want to inspire, who's looking up to you, and you want to set that example. In your case, your daughter. My case is my nieces, my stepdaughter, that I want them to see that I'm going for what I dream, what I dream to be. And setting that example, it's great because you can't tell them, oh, chase your dream, and you're not chasing yours.
Exactly.
And two is the importance of telling your story, because you just don't know who you can help.
Exactly.
Your experience with, going through college, your experience through your career, your experience through going through a struggle, you just don't know who you can help, who's looking up to you and taking your advice, or seeing what you've done and what you've, accomplished, and what you've, the struggles that you've gone through, but overcame them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the struggling is important because, you may be, of course, like you said, you're going through something, you're writing those stupid papers, or you're like, have to stay up late to study or study for a test. But your nieces and your stepdaughter, my daughter, anybody else who's looking at us, they're like, man, if they can do it, I saw them stay up late, I saw them put in the work to study and write those papers, and look at them now, like they graduated. Because remember, the thing that's getting me through, and I'm sure it's going to get you through too, Anel, is college is temporary. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm only in my grad program for 2 years. Once I'm done, I have a master's degree, and that's taking me to a whole other level, a whole other bracket of access of opportunity. Right. And so, now I can go anywhere, really. I can go to any college in the United States and say, hey, I have my master's. Let me, can I work here? So, and same for you. So like having that master's, having that, and another point is Latinas, like we kind of shrink as we go up, like enrollments for Latinos. I think, there was an article that came out last month that said Latinos are like, especially in California, had the highest enrollment ever in the UCs, I think it was.
Great.
But as the degrees get higher, the Latinos shrink. I think I'm maybe one of a handful of Latinas in my program, which is great. There's quite a few of us. But it starts shrinking as you go up. So
I found a little like a statistics where it says Hispanics are among the least educated group in the United States. 11% of those over age of 25 have earned a BA or higher, compared to 17% of Blacks, 30% whites, and 49% Asian American.
Wow. Yep.
So like you said, we're shrinking.
Yeah, we're shrinking. And it's funny because the stat that I think that kind of went up from 11. I think it's now 13, but it's still lagging behind the other, ethnicities. And that's another reason why, and you doing this and now, and me doing Educated Latina, and all the other Latinas who are really pushing higher education. That's why we're doing it, because we need more of us in place. We need more of us to be being examples, for our younger generation. It's crucial, like we need to be in those seats, and we need to have the seat at the table. We need to be making those decisions. And, like, again, having that degree gives us that access, opens those doors for us, and inspires the younger generation to pursue their degree. So hopefully that number will get higher as, the younger generation comes up.
Yes, hopefully it goes up to like 50% or higher.
Well, we're going to be a huge population by I think it was like 2060 will be 50 million in this country. We need to
the
make
majority,
sure
right?
The majority will be the majority by 2060. I don't know how old we'll be by then, but majority population here, and our education needs to match that.
Yeah, I'll be in my 70s, but yes, hopefully my grandkids and my great grandkids are setting that bar up.
Yeah,
the 50%.
Absolutely, because by that time we need to be making decisions for ourselves, not having others make decisions for us.
Yes, that's very true. Very important. Any last advice for the girl that is scared to pursue a higher education?
I say, you know what? Life is short, and you need to go for your dreams. You need to go for it. Like Anel, like myself, you have to find that support system. You have to commit to following your dream, even though it's scary. You just got to that's what bravery is. That's what courage is. It's not the absence of fear. It's doing it with being afraid. And so once you have that one person or your tribe, your community, go ahead and go for it, because it's temporary, but it's going to open up the reward is so much greater. And all the struggles and experiences that you go through to earn that will be so much the sweeter for the reward at the end of it. Again, that access and opportunity is nothing like you've experienced before. So go for it. Just go for it. And if you need help, ask for help. I know sometimes Latinas are like, oh, we could do it. You don't need no help. No, ask for help. And those people that can help you.
Yes. Yes. And to end, yes, like you said, reach out, ask for help. I will put your link in the show notes. Please go follow her and reach out to her, reach out to me, go see who she's following and follow those people and reach out to them if you have any questions or if you need any help. It could be anything. It could be, applying, or it could be how is life as a college student. It could be anything. But Absolutely. please reach out.
Reach out. Don't be afraid. We're just human beings and we have experience, but we'd love to share it with you. I know I would love to share it with you and help you reach your dreams. So don't be afraid to reach out.
Yes. Thank you, Ariana, for being here today and sharing your story and sharing and talking about Educated Latina and inspiring us to follow our dreams and pursue that higher education.
Of course. Thank you again for having me. It was a blast, and have me on any time.
I will have you again.
All right. Thanks, Anel. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode inspired you. If you like this podcast, please share on social media and tag me on Instagram @TheBraveandHer. I would love to hear your stories of bravery.